The tennis world has been shaken by a confession no one expected. Coco Gauff, the young star many call the future of women's tennis, has spoken out with words that left fans shocked and concerned. After years of being praised as a prodigy, winning trophies, and carrying huge expectations, Gauff admitted something that shows the heavy cost of life in the spotlight. "I don't know if I can keep going." Hearing that from one of the brightest talents in the game feels like a punch in the stomach for fans. For Gauff, it's an open and painful admission of exhaustion, pressure, and personal struggle. What made her say this? What does it mean for her career? And how will the tennis world react to such a revelation? Stay with us, because today we break down the full story behind Gauff's shocking words. Before we start, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our tennis updates, emotional stories, and breaking news. Give this video a like if you support Gauff and want to see her push through this moment, and share it with other tennis fans who deserve to know the truth behind her confession. Coco Gauff has always been more than just a tennis player. Ever since her breakthrough at Wimbledon in 2019, when, at only 15 years old, she stunned the world by defeating Venus Williams, she's been seen as the next big star. The headlines came quickly: a teenager with rare calmness, explosive athletic ability, and the heart of a champion. But behind the spotlight and the success, there's another side to her journey, one that shows just how much she's been carrying. A side filled with pressure, expectation, and the heavy weight of being a young star has followed Coco Gauff throughout her journey. So when she recently admitted, "I don't know if I can continue," fans were stunned. Was this just a moment of emotion after a tough match, or a deeper cry for help, hinting to burnout, fatigue, and the mental battles so many young athletes face? The shock wasn't about Gauff losing. It was about what she revealed: the invisible struggles happening away from the court. To truly understand the weight of her words, we need to revisit her incredible rise. At just 13, Coco Gauff was already being called a tennis prodigy. By 15, she was playing under the brightest lights in the sport. That unforgettable Wimbledon victory over Venus Williams wasn't just an upset. It felt like a passing of the torch. The media and fans wasted no time placing her on a pedestal, branding her the next Serena and the future of women's tennis. And for a while, she lived up to every headline. She climbed the rankings, collected titles, and in 2023, captured her first Grand Slam at the US Open. Suddenly, she was the new face of American tennis. But with each victory came new expectations. The crowd wanted more wins. The media demanded answers. Sponsors piled on the pressure. For a teenager, the weight of all that was crushing. When Gauff said she wasn't sure she could keep going, it wasn't only about physical exhaustion. It was about the invisible battles, the relentless expectations, the stress of constant travel, and the spotlight that never dims. Imagine being just 20 years old while carrying the hopes of an entire nation's tennis future. Imagine being compared every single day to Serena Williams, knowing every performance will be measured against greatness. That's the reality Gauff faces each time she steps on court. Fans see the trophies, the celebrations, and the victories. What they don't see are the sleepless nights, the doubts, and the overwhelming stress, which raises the question, have we underestimated the real cost of greatness? Her emotional confession also comes at a time when her form has been uneven. After the high of her US Open victory, results have been a roller coaster. She still battled well against top players, but her struggles against big hitters like Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek have exposed cracks in her game. There have been matches where her forehand faltered, where her energy looked drained, and where her focus seemed to slip. Each of those moments sparked doubts about whether she can sustain her dominance or whether the pressure is finally catching up. When Coco Gauff fell short in big matches, critics were quick to point out her flaws. But what they often forgot is that she's still just 20, still learning, still growing, and still adjusting to the enormous spotlight. These recent struggles likely played a role in her vulnerable confession. Tennis is one of the toughest sports mentally. Unlike team sports, players are completely alone on the court. There are no teammates to lift you up, no substitutions, no timeouts. You face your opponent, and sometimes yourself, alone. This is why stars like Naomi Osaka and Ashley Barty have openly talked about mental health. Barty retired at the peak of her career, saying the grind had become too much. Osaka took breaks from tennis to protect her well-being. Now, Gauff's words echo the same challenges. How often do we stop to consider how draining it is to constantly perform under the spotlight? Sports psychologists warn that the pressure on young athletes can lead to burnout if not managed carefully. Dr. Jim Lohr, a performance psychologist, explains that resilience isn't just about talent, it's about managing your mental, physical, and emotional energy. Tennis experts have weighed in too. Some see Gauff's words as a natural response to the demands of her sport, suggesting she just needs time to rest and recharge. Others worry it could signal deeper struggles that might affect her long-term career. Fans have responded with an outpouring of concern and support. Social media is filled with messages reminding Gauff to take care of herself and that her health matters more than any trophy. Gauff is far from the first star to face this. Naomi Osaka stepped away at her peak to protect her mental health. Ashley Barty stunned the world by retiring as world number 1. Even Andre Agassi admitted that at the height of his career, he hated tennis. These examples show that even the most talented athletes can reach a breaking point. Gauff's confession is another reminder that greatness comes with a cost. The big question now, what's next for Coco Gauff? Will she take a break like Osaka to focus on her mental health, or will she push through this difficult phase and come back stronger than ever? Coco Gauff's career is still very young, yet she has already achieved milestones that most players can only dream of. But if she pushes herself too hard without addressing these struggles, burnout is a real risk. On the other hand, this could become a turning point, a moment where she learns to balance the demands of tennis with her own well-being. For the tennis world, Gauff's words are a wake-up call. The WTA and ATP have been discussing player welfare for years, but confessions like hers highlight just how urgent the issue is. Fans want entertainment. The media wants headlines. Sponsors want victories. But what about the players themselves? If Gauff, arguably one of the strongest mentally and physically, can reach this point, it shows that tennis needs to take mental health seriously. Could her confession spark bigger changes in how the sport treats its stars? Right now, what Gauff needs most is support. From her team, her family, her fans, and the tennis community. This moment doesn't define her career, it shows her humanity. Champions aren't just made of forehands and backhands. They are built through resilience, vulnerability, and the courage to speak out when life feels overwhelming. Whether Gauff takes a break, adjusts her schedule, or continues competing, one thing is clear. Her journey is far from over. Her heartbreaking words, "I don't know if I can continue," remind us that behind every champion is a human being, a young woman carrying the weight of the world's expectations while finding the courage to be honest about her struggles. This moment won't break her, it will shape her. As fans, we can only hope she finds the strength, support, and peace she needs to keep inspiring the tennis world. Do you think Coco Gauff will come back stronger after this emotional moment, or could this be the start of a longer break from tennis? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more updates on Coco Gauff, tennis news, and the stories that matter most in the world of sports.